Welcome, Queen. Are you struggling with disappointment? I know that there have been many times where I had high hopes that something was going to go well, that something was going to work out in my favor, and that was not the case. And sometimes when things don't work out as we envisioned that they would, it can leave us feeling disappointed. And so, if you can relate to thinking back to a time where you were feeling disappointed and you just found yourself stuck feeling that disappointment, then today's video is for you because I'm going to be sharing 5 ways you can arrest disappointment so that it does not turn into depression. And simply put, if you've ever experienced disappointment, which I'm sure you have, because at this stage in the game, if you're watching this channel, you've lived quite a few years. So it means that just what I said, you had expectations, you had hopes that something was going to work out, and now your current reality does not match what you envisioned it would. And the thing about that is, like I said, if you're not careful, it can lead to depression. So, number one, ask clarifying questions. And here's why I say to do that. Because when you ask clarifying questions, that helps you put into perspective what you're focused on. And so sometimes we can get so locked down and focused on the negative that we don't see any positive gains that came out of the situation. And also, when you ask those clarifying questions, like, was somebody else also partly responsible for why things didn't go well? Did I give myself enough time to get this done? Did I ask the right questions going into this situation? And the list goes on. When you ask those type of questions, you help think yourself clear. And that's the good thing about doing it on the front end, because when you ask clarifying questions on the front end, you can sometimes ward off and prevent negative things from happening on the back end. Number two, consider your expectations. Because again, being disappointed means that your expectations does not currently match your reality. So consider, did you have the right expectations going in? Or were you extremely optimistic when you shouldn't have been? Meaning, were you overconfident? You know, we talk about confidence and we say we want to be confident and we should be confident. But there is a point in time where confidence can be too much. It can be too high. And at that point, we're so optimistic, we're so confident, we're overly confident. And so that overconfidence can lead to us having a false sense of true reality. Number three, think about the person. Evaluate that person. Because sometimes things didn't work out in particular situations, in particular instances, because we were not just counting or depending on us, we were counting and depending on someone else. And it's nothing wrong with depending or counting on other people. We live in life, and life is made up of relationships, and we know that those relationships require other people. But sometimes we can align ourselves with people who have their own agenda, who have their own mission, who have their own focus. And depending on the situation, they may not come through for us. And then that can leave us feeling disappointed. And so that's why it's critical to evaluate the person, the people involved in the situation that has you feeling disappointed. Because sometimes we can be guilty of putting too much hope, putting too much faith, putting too much stock in other people. And it doesn't have to be that way. Number four, reframe the event or the situation. And I did a previous video back around Thanksgiving time on reframing and how you can reframe things. Because we all know that coins have two sides. So just like coins have two sides, Every story, every situation, every event, every life lesson has two sides. What side are you looking at? So if you're thinking negative, if you're feeling down, in essence, then you have to consider the fact that you are focused, you are dwelling, your energy is locked in to the negative, to what went wrong. And when you're in that state, when you're in that space, then it's easy to dismiss or not even see any positive gains from that life lesson. So reframe it. And lastly, ask for help. And here's the thing about asking for help: you need to make sure the person that you're asking is a person that will come with an open mind, with an open heart, with objectivity, not just somebody who want to hear your business. Because some people, they'll come and they'll be in essence like they're trying to be a good listening ear, and they won't actually be showing up in that way. They will just be showing up to hear your business, and then the next thing you know, your business is down the street, down the road, and around the corner, because they done told everybody they know. So you don't want to confide in that type of person, but you do at some point. If it becomes too much, ask for help, because if you're not careful, although I am not qualified to give you medical advice, because I am not a therapist, I am not a counselor, I do not prescribe medicine, I can tell you for a fact that if you're not careful, that disappointment can lead into depression. And you don't want disappointment to lead to depression. And you would be amazed, but sometimes you have people in your inner circle that you just haven't reached out to, and they could pour into you and give you words of wisdom and encouragement to help you see a different perspective. So again, those 5 things: ask clarifying questions, make sure you are evaluating your expectations, make sure you consider the person, make sure that you reframe it, and lastly, don't be afraid to ask for help. Because one thing I can tell you is this, ladies: disappointment is a natural part of life, but depression does not have to be, because we get to determine what we think, which means we get to control our thoughts, and we get to extract the life lesson that adversity has brought us. As always, I'm Coach Sam, telling you 24 hours doesn't seem long, but in 24 hours, you could change your life. So go ahead and do something life changing now.